Okay, transform into your thing. Come on, dude. I'm wasting time here. Hello? Come on, my rage is gone. Dead. No, I'm dying. No. Good. Yes. I love my build, man. I love it. Hello, and welcome to Cleave of Rage 0 to Hero Edition. This is a new style of videos I'll probably try to make when I make these builds, just to tell you my story of how I go through the league and the builds that I like. I've changed from the MF Lightning Arrow to this one because I really liked the style of transfigured gems, and this one is talking about Cleave of Rage. Cleave of Rage gives you rage on hit. With quality, it gives you 2 rage when this skill hits any enemies, and you basically build up rage up to 125, which is the cap, and then you deal more damage, have more attack speed, and have more AoE. That's why we choose the Berserker. For a Berserker, we want to grab Aspect of Carnage, Crave the Slaughter, Rite of Ruin, and then you can choose either Defy, Pain, or Warbringer if you like to play with Red Blade Banner. More on that in the crit version. Now, the tree is very simple. This is a very cheap tree. The cluster jewel is between 20 and 40 chaos, nothing to worry about. Everything is listed in the item section and skill section, and of course tree section of the build. Don't forget, in the bottom thing, you can, bottom left side, you can select between RT Cleave and Crit Cleave, and for items and skills as well, so don't forget to change that. Now, the build functions with a few uniques that are mandatory. Rigwald Savagery is mandatory because it gives you rage while wielding a sword, and we need to use a sword and an axe to make Rage Cleave work. That's one thing, and Bear's Girdle gives us additional 20 to maximum rage and more damage and so on when we have rage. So those are the 2 mandatory uniques that you will need to make this build work. You need a regular sword. You don't care about the crit and anything because we're playing RT, but you would want to get a Storm Shroud, which gives you ailment immunity with chance to avoid being shocked. It transforms chance to avoid being shocked to all ailment immunity. Now, these 2 Searching Eye Jewels, or Searching and Murderous Eye Jewels, Abyss Jewels, both have 50% chance to avoid being shocked, which makes it ailment immune. Now, thanks to the charms, we have, of course, melee hits have a chance to fortify mana reservation efficiency. That's not too expensive, that's very cheap. And banner skills have no reservation, cannot take reflected physical damage, which makes this thing pop. One more thing for RT version that's not in the crit version are Circle of Guilts, with Herald of Purity has increased buff effect and mana reservation efficiency, so that we can squeeze in a little bit more damage. Of course, one thing to not forget is we have 100% chance to impale. Don't go under, because if you go under, you have a chance for impales to not be applied on your hits, and you want to apply impales. Impales take the portion of your hit damage and they stack up. If you have 5 impales, they stack up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you apply the 6th one, the first one explodes. That's why you want to have fast attack speed as well, so you can apply as many impales as possible. That's why this build does not look like it's doing damage in the first like few 5 hits, 5, 6 hits. But that's for the cheap version. Let's go to the fun part. That's under 5 div, by the way. Now let's go to my current one, which is around 50 to 60 divine budget. Now, it does, of course, 8-9 times the damage, but here's one interesting thing. It has multiple uniques, extra and upgraded uniques. Rigwald Savagery is upgraded to fortify attack speed. I have the Savior. Savior gives you 2 Mirages that deal 50% of your damage. They apply Impale as well. 50% of your damage extra. If you have 1 target, 2 Mirages, 50% damage, that's double. So we're not dealing 18 million, we're doing 36 million damage. Of course, this is all included with flasks. If we remove flasks, it's around 13 million. And if we remove Val Ancestral War Chief, it's also like 8.7 million. If you put the regular one, it's like 11. but you want attack speed from Protector, so there's that. These are always going to be active as long as you're hitting the target and as long as you are dealing damage to it. Now, a small thing to add here in mind is why do I have flasks active when I usually don't like to do so? That's because of Watcher's Eye Jewel. This one is expensive. It's cheap if you don't do impales, but gain a flask charge when you deal a crit strike while affected by precision, gives you a flask charge. I think it's every 0.1 or 1 second, something of that sort. And impales you inflict last 2 additional hits while using Pride, which basically gives us a lot more damage. Like roughly, what does this say? 16.5% extra damage because of 2 extra impales. Now, Storm Shroud is still the same thing. Thread of Hope is an added thing. You can see and read all of this. And that which was taken is a new jewel that gives you mini ascendancies. We use this one for a chance to gain a frenzy charge on hit and extra rage, so we can cap at 125 rage. Now, to explain how Shield Swap works with Enduring Cry, on the tree, first thing we need to have is Warcries grant rage per 5 power if have less than 25 rage. So you enter the map, you shield weapon swap to a shield Red Blade banner. Warcries have infinite power. If we have 1 rage per 5 power, if it's infinite, we get maximum rage. You put Enduring Cry on your left click, it's always on left click, and you move, and you get 100 rage, and that gives us our like damage and so on. Yes, you gain a little bit less than 125. You can improve this by buying a Psychotic Axe, which has no modifiers, any Psychotic Axe, and just equip it and you'll have 120 rage. So there's that. You can use that. I'll have to play around because I have only like a white weapon, white socketed weapon. It doesn't matter. I'm leveling gems, and that's basically it. Now, for gems, one thing changes, that is you get Cleave of Rage with Impale and critical damage instead of the previous one, and you have, of course, added Precision and Enlighten, and that's basically Assassin's Mark instead of the other mark for the thing. But how do we get ailment immunity this time around? We get them on boots. We have 100% chance to avoid being shocked. These boots were around 5.5 divines. Plus minus, you can get better ones, you can get worse ones. There's evasion rating. If I get more levels, more points, I will work on that. You get iron reflexes, and that gives you extra survivability because it converts evasion rating to armor. But overall, what does this build do? It does stuff. It demolishes stuff. It has a problem, however, with spells and with critical damage. Like if mobs have high enough crit, that's a problem. I'll see if that could be upgraded in any way, shape, or form. So that's going to be an interesting thing. Now, it's around 50 to 60 div. I'm working towards grinding for Mageblood because Mageblood is going to make this build pop even more, and I want to play around with it because now it's cheap considering it's dropping from Valdo's puzzle boxes. So there's that. That's the next upgrade. That progenesis and so on, trying to make this build as beefy, tanky, and I'll try to do uber bosses if possible. For now, I don't think this build can do uber bosses, but I haven't tried playing many uber bosses, so I'm not sure. And this build so far clears Uber Lab very easily, clears any content very easily, clears invitations. I haven't done Feared and I haven't done Cortex yet. So Cortex and Feared I haven't done yet. But most of the rolled invitations it can do easily. Now, for anything that you would like to ask me about this build, how it works, how it functions, I stream on all 3 platforms, Twitch Heavy Heals, YouTube here, and Kick Heavy Heals as well. And feel free to ask me any or all questions that you have. I hope you enjoyed this quick preview. Everything is going to be linked in the description below, of course, POB and my other social media. So there's that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, and I will see you in the next video.